I admitted that I'd been spending my time in a waking dreamland, trying to remain separate from the others in my class. Alright everybody, welcome back to some more Umineko When They Cry. Now, I've made some... I've thought about things since last part. So first things first, I want to say, it's been a couple of days for me personally. Well, for you guys, I'm still playing every day, but it's been a couple of days for me personally since I've uploaded a Umineko video, and that's because I've been very busy and stuff like that. And that actually brings up my first point, which I'll get into in a second. But I've been very, very busy. I mean, classes just started, so I haven't been able to record in a couple of days. But here we go. I'm back. This video should actually come out tomorrow, I think, or the day after. So it's like you guys are pretty much caught up with me almost at this point. So yeah, but the reason why I'm saying this because during these last couple of days, obviously, I've thought about Umineko in these days where I've been busy, and that's also why I haven't replied to you guys as quickly as I usually do. Maybe not, I don't know. But so when you guys comment, I always look at your comments, right? But I don't always have the time to, because I'll be in the middle of something and stuff like that, so I won't always have the time to reply to comments. Yeah, that's why I've been so late at replying to you guys. Sometimes I even off more than 24 hours until I actually reply to you guys. That can happen. But during that time, I've thought about Umineko and stuff like that, and I've made quite a few. I wouldn't say realizations, but more like thought-altering things. And I want to change up on claims that I've said in the past that I'm not. I don't know if I necessarily regret saying them, but I now see things differently. You know what I mean? And of course, I want you guys to be aware that just like the people in the visual novel and fictional stories, people can change. People's thoughts can change. You know what I mean? What my thought about a certain thing was a week ago may not be the same one that I have today, right? And so here are my thoughts. So here's what we want to talk about, and it's regarding Umineko. So of course. So first things first, Rosa. I want to talk about the whole Rosa Maria business. After thinking much about it, I actually don't blame Rosa as much for forgetting the promise as I initially did, or as I initially saw it. At first I was like, no, wait, what? That's crazy. But now I see it a bit differently. After being, I wouldn't say stressed, but more active in different things these last couple of days. I see now, especially regarding Rosa, I see now, a little bit at least, the way things are for Rosa, if that makes sense. Or like, no, not that I see it, but it's more like, I feel like I'm able to empathize with Rosa better. And that's not to say that what she did wasn't wrong, right? Just because you're stressed or something does not excuse, for example, bad behavior or stuff like that. But Rosa, we don't really know the context of what actually happened that night with Rosa. Why she's leaving Maria so often. You know what I mean? And, like, she did some suspicious things, right? She went to a suspicious city where there's a lot of, it's known for its baths and stuff like that. And, you know, Rosa can claim it's a business trip, and it could very well be a business. No, Rosa doesn't, I don't remember actually Rosa claiming anything. But you could argue it's a business trip. Maybe it isn't. Maybe she did actually go to the bath. But either way, life is tough for Rosa. Alright? Now imagine being Rosa, okay? First things first, you're the youngest daughter. Not only you're the youngest, you're also a woman born in the Ushiyome family. So just imagine, you're a girl in the Ushiyome family, with Kenzo as your father. So that alone, you know what I mean? Just look at Eva, and Eva's not even the youngest. Now imagine being the youngest, being like Eva and being the youngest. That's already hard enough. But okay, leave that alone. Rosa then grew up, married some guy. I'm sure. We don't really know. All we know is that she eventually gave birth to Maria, and the guy left for milk, or at least that's what the theory. That's the theory behind it. That's what the other family, I believe, said in episode 1 in some stage. It was like Nazi or something. It might have been episode 2, where they said that, yeah, he left for milk. Or they didn't say it like that, but I say it like that because, you know, When the guy leaves for milk, obviously, he's leaving his family behind. He's leaving his children and wife behind, right? So, guy left for milk, left her behind with Maria alone. So, that alone is a heartbreak. That's a huge heartbreak, right? That's deep wound, right? I'm sure that hurt Rosa really deeply. But Rosa couldn't give up on her daughter. She couldn't give up on her design job or anything like that. So she had to work alone to raise Maria alone, and raising a child alone is not an easy task. Even though I haven't done it myself, I can imagine. You know what I mean? I can imagine. You know, and for me, right? I don't even have any children to raise, obviously, but I'm already this hectic doing a bunch of different stuff. So realize that I have to add a child up to that. Someone have to keep watch for basically 24/7, right? I mean, you lose sleep when you have a child. You lose sleep. You lose a lot of free time. You spend so much effort with the child. And I know what you're going to say then. Well, maybe she shouldn't have had one in the first place and stuff like that. But sometimes life doesn't go the way you think it does. Maybe when Rosa had the child, she thought she could do it because her husband was gonna stay. Who would imagine her? Did she want her husband to leave? You know what I mean? Things don't always work out your way, and I think you shouldn't just blame Rosa for all of it. Okay? And I think even for me, things haven't always worked out my way. When I initially make a choice, right? I've never made the choice as life-altering as literally creating a baby, obviously. But I'm sure when you make choices like that, I'm sure Rosa, when she made that choice, like, there's no way. You might say, oh, you can never expect anything for your future, so expect the worst. But you make it sound so like optimistic. It sounds so naive to just say that. I feel like reality is not that easy where you can just, you know what I mean? At some point you choose to do something and it just doesn't work out, okay? And that's a heartbreak in itself. And then taking care of her child, and I think Rosa's been trying. She's been trying to take care of her child, and the fact that she even notices a lot of times that she has left her child alone. She does cry over her child. It's not like she doesn't care about Maria at all, right? Whether she went to the bath or not, right? So now, a couple parts ago, what I really want to reinstate about my claim a couple parts ago, or I believe like 10 parts ago or something, I don't know. I said that, oh, you can't be forgetting a promise, you know what I mean? Like, it's okay to not be able to do a promise, but as long as you remember it, that's the most important part. That's what I said. And it's not like I disagree with that statement fully, in a way, right? I still think you need to, if you're gonna promise someone something, you need to uphold it. And if you aren't expecting to be able to uphold a promise, then why are you making it to begin with? That's what I said. But it's just like when what I previously said about making a choice. When you make a promise, I'm sure when you initially do it, you think you have the capacity to do it. At least you initially do. Regardless of who you are, you're not gonna make a promise that you know you don't have the capacity to do, right? If I promise something, I'm gonna make it within thinking, okay, I think I can pull this off. You know what I mean? And Rose obviously has to take care of her kid. You know what I mean? She promises, alright, Maria, yes, we'll go out together this Saturday. You know what I mean? But then, what if something crazy happened at work? What if there was I don't know, like, I don't know, some workers injured themselves with, I don't know, failed equipment when they're designing something. That's just to be stressed about taking care of the workers. And then we know she's there pulling all-nighters and stuff. Or maybe it's not. Maybe that's not what's actually happening. Maybe this is all my truth of how I'm seeing it. Just like how Angie's truth was that Rosa's being a bad mother. But maybe this is my truth. What I'm saying is, regardless of whatever truth you believe in, I'm just trying to add another perspective that Angie provided. And even the one that Maria provided. Maria just said, it's fine, she's stressed and all that stuff. But I'm trying to explain, I guess, more of what Maria might have been saying. Of adulting is like, it's not just adulting, you're taking care of a kid alone, your husband left you know what I mean? And your family, it feels like they largely don't care about you. Well, they do, but they don't. They just care about money and stuff like that. You know what I mean? you put in this kind of situation, you know what I mean? Rosa can't just go to Cross and be like, oh, help me, you know what I mean? It's tough. You have that sort of tough family situation. And thinking back, and especially because I love Rosa so much as a character. I think her character is so brilliant. And I think the way, the way I was so harsh thinking about it, I realized now that I was very harsh. And I realized that these last couple of days when I've been sitting down for endless hours doing different things and coming back home very late and tired, just like Rosa, with Maria. And imagine after that I had a child and I had to come back and be like, I'm sorry, I have to be away for a couple of days. I get it, you know what I mean? I get it. Well, I mean, it's just, it's horrible, right? And I'm not excusing Rosa's actions. I just want to say that right now, y'all. I don't want to excuse Rosa's action. I'm not saying what she did was okay. I'm not saying it's okay to obviously slap your daughter's head without even knowing why you slapped her. I'm not saying any if that's okay. I just want to add a perspective of to show you guys that Rosa isn't Beatrice. She's not a dreadful monster, right? Rosa's a human being, and I do believe that at the very least, human beings within the Schumer family, whether they're the culprits or not, I'm supposed to believe that one of them is the culprit. But I want to say that I want to say that they might do bad things, but I don't feel like they initially ever think that they're doing something to be a bad person. You know what I mean? Eva, I bet the entire time was thinking, oh, this has to be the right way to do things for George and for Hideyoshi, right? So even if what Eva did was wrong, I guess, yeah, but she's trying to cover away a future for her son that she cares about her son more than anything. We saw how she ended up when she lost George and Hideyoshi. We saw how she ended up. We saw how she treated Angie. And I'm not excusing the way she treated Angie, but I feel like it's very easy to villainize Eva in that situation. And that's what Angie was doing kind of too. And so I just want to provide a different thing there. And there was something else I wanted to say. Well, yeah, I'm done now. But point is, not just with Rosa, but I guess with anyone, with Eva included, and even Angie now. I mean, last part you saw, Angie. Well, I'm not supposed to believe in witches and magic or whatever, but Angie obviously betrayed this. I guess that's when Angie betrayed Mammon, what Mammon was talking about, which I'll get into a second. But even with Angie, like you can see, the visual novel, at least with Angie, the visual novel has shown us clearly how things have developed for Angie, so we understand how she feels like. But I don't know whether it's purposeful or not. The visual novel has not done the same for us regarding Eva, for example. Eva's a really good example. The visual novel has not done a great job. Maybe on purpose, but I'm saying not a great job. As in the visual novel is good. Like it's not a fault of the visual novel. It's not a flaw. It's more of a purposeful attempt to make us dislike Rosa or Eva or something. And I guess Beato too, and that has worked really well with me because Beato sucks. So, I mean, I highly doubt I'll be able to just, even at the end of the visual novel, I don't think I'll be able to look past what she did in episode 2 and 3. I don't think so. Even at the end of the visual novel. But if I do, fair play. You're gonna need some extreme writing to fix the holes I have from episode 2 and 3 regarding Beato. And even episode 4. I mean, it's just like, it's not like Beato suddenly you know what I mean? It's not like she's even close. So, yeah. So there's that. So okay. There's one more thing I wanted to say before we get to reading, and that is the timelines. So regarding the timelines, I got multiple comments saying that that the timelines happen. That the pacing is kind of weird, where they don't specify the time. Now I have been in the past. I'm not gonna lie to you. I've been really dumb and not reading the timeline as it's showing me on the screen. Like I didn't read that it said after 1986 at some point, for example, with Angie's story. But at the same time, the visual novel itself has been kind of weird with that, where they jump around in time from Angie doing this to Angie doing that to going back to Angie doing this, and it hasn't been very clear when things happen chronologically. And is it a problem? Not necessarily, because I guess you are supposed to piece things together on your own, right? That's kind of the whole point. You piece things together on your own. But at the same time, I would have liked a little bit more clarity. But now I think I got more clarity after some comments. So here's how I think it has gone on. But you guys can let me know in the comments or correct me if I'm saying anything wrong. So here's where I think it has gone on. Angie, 6-year-old, lost her family. But before she was 6, she played with Maria and was invited into Maria's Sorcière. This is before she was 6, before Maria died. And they were hanging around in the hidden mansion for some reason. Maria and Angie were. What? So I guess Maria knows about the hidden mansion? Whatever. That's a whole nother discussion that I'm not gonna get into right now, because that did kind of freak me out how they were in the hidden mansion, even though none of the family members should know about it. Okay, well, I mean, Eva certainly knew about it at the end of episode 3, but whatever, we'll ignore for that, because that's not the point of what I'm saying right now. So she going to vanish Maria Sorcière, whatever. After Maria died, she kept reading the diary, and she kept doing magic, and at some point Maria even summoned the 7 stakes when they were up in that sky. Remember that sky bit? And Angie was practicing, she couldn't summon all 7 at once, so she could only summon, she only summoned the, Mamon's the only one remaining after they played, what am I saying? After they played rock, paper, scissors, Mamon's the only one remaining, and after that they became good friends, right? As Angie was growing up. Eventually, Angie just kind of gave up on magic, right? Was reading the diary, but she kind of just gave up on magic and on Mamon, and I guess after practice for a while, she kind of gave up. And which you may see as which might be the reason why. Oh yeah, and they were also playing Shikitori together. That was also before. Well, I mean, that was when all 7 were summoned, though. So I'm not really sure when Shikitori falls in the timeline, but eventually. Angie kind of forgets about Mamon and just leaves her, whatever, deserted or whatever, which may be the reason why Mamon sees, Mamon felt betrayed over what Angie did, because, she left her. Why would you leave her? I thought we were supposed to be friends, and then you don't summon me anymore. Angie eventually stopped believing in magic, until she started practicing again, after the Rokkenjima incident, right? When we saw, which I guess, yeah, but she wasn't in her adult form. I guess the Shikitori thing must have happened before Rokkenjima. It must have. Before the No way. No, wait. No. But why was Angie in her adult form? That must have been, yeah, no. Was she reading the diary? She wasn't reading the diary. So I don't really know what Shikitori falls in the timeline. I'm not gonna lie to you all. Shikitori, when they were playing that word game with all 7 stakes, I don't know when that falls into the timeline. But okay, eventually, this scene happens that we're witnessing right now. Well, yes, this scene happens. Oh. Okay. New thought. I just thought about this on the fly. So I guess Angie, we had the whole sky incident where Angie and Mamon was the one that won amongst the 7 stakes, and Mamon ended up staying with Angie and they became good friends. And Mamon kept staying with Angie even when she enrolled in Saint Lucia after Eva put her here and whatever. And Mamon was her only friend during times of loneliness and all that stuff, and she was still reading the diary. Eventually, before she started in... Wait. And yeah, and they played Shikitori at some point. Yeah, so they kept playing Shikitori at some point, right, together. So Angie's had a lot of fun. But what we're witnessing right now, her getting bullied, is before the whole Amakusa stuff. I wanna say. So before the whole Amakusa stuff, Angie hung out with Mamon and all that, and had fun playing Chikitori and all that. And then this happened, and obviously, as you can clearly see, Angie denying magic, denying Sakutaro, and even Maria too in a way. Well, I mean, Maria's still there because she's a witch. But saying now, you're all illusions, you were all supposed to be dead, right? You all died in Rokkenjima, whatever, you never really existed. And she did this, her getting bullied here is her denial of witches. And then after this point, Angie continues denying witches and forgets about magic. So she forgets about magic, and that's what Maria meant when, oh, you used to be so good at magic when you're young, and then you kind of gave up on it and forgot about it until now. Eventually, Angie talks to that Okonoki guy, which then leads her to investigate the other side, the side that believes that witches did the murders. And that's when Angie comes back to magic again and summons all the 7-6 again. Well, she tries, but she only summons 5, as we saw in that bedroom scene with Amakusa. That time Amakusa was there. And that's what Mamon meant when she was like, oh, you kind of betrayed me or whatever, or stuff like that. So, and that's why, because she was older, her magic power was not as good as it was when she was younger. And she also practiced harder because she's older at magic. I think that's how the timeline goes. And then obviously, what's going on what happened between Lambda Delta and Angie and of course Mamon during that one scene when Lambda Delta tried to, well, he's trying to persuade Angie to go for a stalemate over and over. This is after all of this, so after the whole Amakusa stuff. Or maybe not. Well, because she's in a different dimension, so it doesn't really matter when it happens. Because look at Battler. Battler's died multiple times, but he's still in that other dimension. So it's not like it matters. So forget the other dimension stuff. But it's definitely after the 1998 incident, after Eva died, right? That you know that for sure. Okay, and I think that's how the timeline goes. Now again, correct me if I'm wrong regarding anything in the timeline in the comments. I could very well be wrong, and you guys were completely right when you said that the timeline, the pacing is a bit weird with the timelines. I say timeline, I shouldn't say timeline, I should say more like time frames, I guess, because the different frames in time, and Umineko's gonna be jumping back and forth, and we have the job of trying to piece things together. So yeah, let's get back to it. Do I recap last part at this point? I've been talking for so long, I should probably shouldn't even be bothered recapping last part, but I guess I will. Basically, Angie got bullied, and bullied so bad actually that she ended up, worse than she's ever gotten bullied before. Because I mean, she had to read the humiliation letter that she wrote out loud to the class, it ended up with her denying magic and all that stuff, denying witches, denying the 7 stakes. So they all disappeared and died, whatever. Sakutaro also went. Maria seems like she found that sort of thing unforgivable, even though Angie eventually falls back on magic, so maybe Maria forgived her by then. I don't know. But yeah. And now she's back in reality. So out of that witch world, she denied witches. And now she's saying this, that she admitted that she'd been spending time in the waking dreamland trying to remain separate from the others in my class. So now we're basically all caught up. I've said everything I wanted to say in the intro. Sorry for that very long intro, but I needed to get all of what I said off my chest because I've been thinking a lot about Umineko in the past couple of days, and yeah, I kind of regret saying some of the statements that I have said. So that's all. All right, now let's get into it. Those friends who had spoken to me with such kind and hopeful words, yet who couldn't offer me any help at all now in the moment I truly wanted it. To move on from them and to sully them. I admitted it.
私、後宮エンジェは協調性がなくてクラスメートに迷惑をかけました。それは勉強ができないためクラスメート全体に対し過度の劣等感を持っていたからに他なりません。私は生きてても仕方ありません。
That's crazy. Starting there, I was no longer reading the paragraph they had made me write. It was my improvisation. And what was in my heart. I don't think that's in your heart. Well, I mean, it might be what's in your heart, but it shouldn't be what's in your heart. I should rephrase that. Because your life is very worth it, Angie. I'm a live person, and I want you alive, Angie. So if that alone for me is a reason for you to live. If someone else wants you to be alive, that alone is a reason to live, in a way. Well, I mean, you gotta find your own reason to live, though. At the end of the day, it can't be depending on someone else's reason for you to live. I don't know what I'm saying anymore, y'all. I'm on something. They also noticed that it wasn't what they had anticipated, but while they did frown, no one spoke. So I continued.
そうです。私は生きてても仕方がなかった。1986年のあの日に、私も連れて行ってもらうはずだったんです。なのに、私だけが連れて行ってもらえなかった。どうして私はここにいるのでしょう。
Oh yeah, there is another thing I wanted to say.
ここは私のいる世界じゃない。誰も助けてくれません。
There is another thing I wanted to say. And that's regarding what Angie's saying right now. And regarding what I said a couple parts ago about her. And that is Angie. Angie obviously hates this life. It is horrible. I mean, since 1986, her life's been horrible. It sucked. I mean, she said it herself. Her life sucks. It hasn't been great. And so, at this point, she might be even thinking, would it have been better for me to be dead? You know what I mean? That's how bad it is. And you know what I said? I said another thing. I said that, I'd be down to suffer to make sure another me lives a happy life, you know what I mean? At least another me is living good. But I also thought about that phrase that statement when I thought about it, and I realized, maybe no. I realized no, because is the other person really me? You know what I mean? Like, my other me can achieve happiness on his own. Why the frick is the other me depending on me? That's what I noticed. I'm like, yeah, why did I say that? I kind of regret saying that. And it's a good thing a commenter pointed out that I said that a couple parts ago, because now I kind of don't see it that way. Like, I said, oh, well, at least another me will be happy. No, like, you gotta carve your own success, right? You can't just have it handed to you. And if Angie, I feel like I said that just because I was biased towards Battler winning, not because I actually thought that at the time. It has to be, because now I see it as no, because if Battler wins and Angie goes back to this world, we see how this world is a living hell, right? I said it so nonchalantly, like, oh yeah, I'm down to suffer. But look at what Angie's going through. Am I really down to suffer like this? I don't think so. I don't think so. Another me's living happy? I don't think so. It's like I've been watching Summertime Rendering. I don't know if you guys watch Summertime Rendering. It's like that show. They talk about the Swamp Man experiment, I think, where it's like this other life form takes your personality and takes all of your memories and kills you, so that, because it's your exact personality, exact same DNA, exact same memories, so he retains your memories and basically takes over your life. It's basically you, but it's not you. I wouldn't be down for that, because it's not me. Like, it's me, but it's not me. Because again, if a life form takes your DNA, takes your personality, and takes your memories, literally it's you. There is no difference. There is no difference. There is no difference, right? I mean, those are like essentially the requirements to be you, in a way. Because again, personality being the biggest thing. It copies my personality to the exact. And I realized this is kind of that same sort of topic. Umineko takes similar sort of themes that Summertime Rendering does, with the shadows, right? Shadows that take over your body and become you, basically. Summertime Rendering is such a good show, by the way. If you haven't been watching Summertime Rendering, it's definitely one of the best shows from the summer season. Ha! Summertime Rendering, summer season. You should definitely be watching it. Especially if you like Umineko, because I do think it has similar themes. But that one is more. It's more about. It's kind of like ReZero, where guy when the main character dies, he goes back to a set time and has to redo things. But it is really interesting. It's a fun mystery show. It's almost done now. I think there's only a couple episodes left, so catch up now while you can, I guess. But yeah, I think I'm not sure it's worth it. I'm not sure. Like, would I be down for another life form to be me, to be a copy of me and do things my way? And obviously, my family will never notice it. No one will ever notice it because it's literally me, but it's just not me. I don't have the consciousness of me in that, or at least it's not proven that I have my consciousness in that. I don't think so. So I kind of see what, and especially if you've been through what Angel's been through, I don't think you'd want to be here just to give your other self a better life. So actually, kind of, my bad for saying that. Maybe I should rephrase it a little bit. I should have thought about it more before I said it like that. So good thing a commenter picked up on that and was like, hey, I mean, don't forget that you said this. You're right. That's kind of a weird thing I say. And that's the beauty of it, is that you change your mind as things go along. You don't always think the same thing you do initially, especially if you give it a couple days to think about it. If you give things a couple days to think about it, you think about it and you go, yeah, but is it really? Is that really how it is? Man, this visual novel has made me think a lot of very philosophical stuff that I don't typically think of classically, because that's not what I do. And another thing I wanted to say, I'm sorry, I've talked a lot. I'm sorry. I will actually keep this story going in a second here, and then I'll stop babbling so much and we'll actually read through. And that is, we have to remember that us readers, we're not in the visual novel. We're seeing things from an outside perspectives. And not only are we seeing things from an outside perspective, we know more than the characters in the visual novel. Well, okay, not all of them. But as in, I know more about what actually happened in Rokkenjima than Angie does, in a way. I know more about different characters than different characters know about different characters. I know things that other characters don't. So it's unfair to treat other characters as if they have the same knowledge as me, and to tell them, oh, you should do this, it's your best play. But how would they know it's the best play if they haven't seen the whole perspective of it, the whole outside of it? And another thing is to put yourself in their shoes. It's hard, because when you're in the moment, when you're doing something in the moment, like Angie denying the 7 stakes last part, in the moment, she wanted those classmates to die. And from us, from the outside perspective, we're obviously like, no, don't kill your classmates. Why would you want the 7 stakes to kill your classmates? Right? And I think even Angie knows deep down that's not the play. And we know that that is not the play. But when you're in the moment, you cannot say Angie's an idiot for doing that or stuff like that. Because when you're in that moment, it's hard. It's hard. You do things that you don't necessarily are fully aware of what you're doing. It's kind of weird for me to explain. But for us sitting in a chair very comfortably, reading this from a very calm mindset, thinking that this is a fictional thing that doesn't even exist, right? When a writer writes a story, they have to think as if the characters are as real as possible, right? So when the characters act out in a way, they act out in a realistic way. It has to be. It has to be in a way that it sort of makes sense. And even if it doesn't make sense, it has to be in a way that a human can act out, because humans will act out in a way that you don't expect always, right? And I think a really good example of this is actually, yes, I'm gonna talk about One Piece again, but I'll be quick with this one. Ace. A lot of people blame Ace for what happened in Marineford because he turned around and got angry at Akainu for disrespecting Whitebeard. And I know what you're thinking, oh, they were so close to escaping. They were so close to getting out. Why would he turn around? Why would he do that? He's an idiot. You know what I mean? He did it to himself. But then, what I say against that is, again, when you're in the moment, right? Imagine being Ace. You're first things first. You had Blackbeard disrespect you, right? Because Blackbeard was supposed to be under his division, by the way. So Blackbeard disrespected him. He goes to chase after Blackbeard, loses. So again, loses. Again, remember Ace lost against Whitebeard. He's gonna disrespect it so many times. Ace gets sent to a prison. Has to. His entire family, the people he sees as family, he sees Whitebeard as his dad. They come to save him from being executed. Imagine being Ace and he's crying. He's sitting there in the execution stand crying. You know, there's this really beautiful scene where he's you know, his forehead is like on the ground and he's crying. He's going, "Pops," like that, like, wow, leave me, don't save me, I'm pathetic, don't save me. You know what I mean? Ace had those feelings. Okay, so when you're in the moment, when you are Ace, podcast the Ace, or I guess it would be more accurate if you're not derived from your father's name. His real name is kind of Gold the Ace, but you know, nah, people call him Podcast the Ace anyway, even if that's his mother's name. It's fine. Podcast the Ace. So Ace, when he sees a kind of disrespected like that, after his father like that, right? It's basically his father figure. He sees Whitebeard as much more of a father figure than he's ever saw his real dad, right? He never saw Gold Roger, the Pirate King himself, as his dad. No, he didn't. Whitebeard was always his dad, and for him to disrespect him like that, saying, "Oh, your Whitebeard is a fool of a man, old man coming here to save you. You don't deserve that. You're garbage, Ace." Imagine being Ace after everything you've been through to that point. For someone to disrespect your dad after so much shame being brought to Ace. There's so much shame, so shameful from Ace, right? From Ace, I understand he'd be embarrassed, right? If Ace walks away from that, if Ace walks away from Akainu and doesn't do anything, he would just let him disrespect his dad. And I know it's not logical, it doesn't make sense, obviously. Just run. We know he's trying to provoke you. Ace knows he's trying to provoke him. Ace isn't a complete idiot. He's an idiot, but he's not a complete idiot. He knows he's trying to provoke him. But he also knows that if he walks away from that, that is a bigger shame than dying right then and there. You know what I mean? That is so shameful. So Ace turns around and is like, "Nah, I won't. I've already let my own, you know, squad division man kill another one of our crew members. I've tried to hunt him down, despite my pops saying that maybe I shouldn't, and other people also saying maybe I shouldn't. Why Blackbeard is a tough man. Losing to him, being sent to prison, and having your entire family try to save you, your entire crew trying to save you from prison, from execution. Like, it sucks. And from Ace's perspective, it sucks. It's horrible. It's bad, right? And I see it. And that's why I don't blame Ace for what he did as much as everyone else does. And part of that's because I said I'd make this short, but I've been talking for a while now. But I think part of it is because when you're living in the moment, right? When you're reading things from an outside perspective, it's easy to blame a character for being an idiot, for being dumb. "Oh, he shouldn't have done that, he's an idiot." And I see this all the time. But you guys have to think about it from a writer's perspective. Now I'm leaving One Piece, alright? So for you if you read One Piece, you'll know what I mean. If you don't read One Piece, from here on you'll know what I mean. From a writer's perspective, when you're writing a story, you have to make it in a way that is kind of believable, that you have to put yourself in the character's shoes, basically. And I think Oda is really, really, really good at that. Eiichiro Oda from One Piece is really good at that. He even said it himself in an interview before, in SBS, where he goes, he said in an interview before where, for chapter 1000 of One Piece, right? I mean, we're currently in chapter 1057 or something. But back when chapter 1000 coming out, 2 years ago-ish or something like that, it was a really special moment. Oda said in an interview that, when I was writing, when One Piece was around chapter 960 or something, my editor told me, or my assistant or something, told me that I should do something special for chapter 1000. And Oda said, "Oh yeah, I should. We are reaching chapter 1000. I should do something special. But how will I do it?" Right? Because Oda said in the interview that he likes to write his characters as if they're doing things on their own, right? I don't want to force a character to do something. I want a character to do something that he would naturally do anyway. Nothing should feel forced. And I'd love that Oda realizes that and that Oda sees that, because a character will do. If you gotta put yourself in a character's shoes, when you give them a certain personality, you give them a certain character, you gotta give them a certain certain trait. You gotta put yourself in their shoes, and you gotta make their actions as natural as possible. They have to flow with everything else, and Oda is so good at that with One Piece. And honestly, Umineko, the writer, Ryukishi, right, is really good at that too. I've seen it with Higurashi, and now I've seen it with Umineko. This guy, and I'm pretty used to be a social worker. Whoever wrote Umineko, you can tell he's to be a social worker. You can tell this person knows how people work. He knows how people work, right? He knows, and you can tell, like, these people feel like they're doing things like it makes sense. And when you put yourself in an outside perspective, reading a manga or reading a visual novel, you're not going to see it. You're not going to see it how it actually is, and you're never going to see it for how it actually is. I'm convinced that all of you guys reading this don't see it for how it actually is, not for any fault of your own. And I'm sure the author also has to, or the writer also has to compensate for that. But at the same time, you don't see for what it actually is, because in the moment, when you're in the visual novel, when you're actually a character in the visual novel, you do something that from an outside perspective, reading the visual novel, you go, pah, idiot, dumb, should have done that, why did you do that, idiot? Or something like that. Or maybe something else, right? I mean, the opposite can also be true. Maybe a character does something that's too smart for their own good. Like, that's too smart. I mean, like, I feel like that was not a natural progression for him to be able to do that. For example, or her, whatever, for example. So, yeah. Sorry for the very long tangent there. We've barely gone through story. For the rest of this video, I'll try to keep myself as silent as possible so we actually make progress in the visual novel. But I really wanted to get those things out of my chest, because it's something that I wanted you guys to be aware that I'm aware of. You know what I mean? It's something that you guys watching me, because I mean, you guys are watching me react to this visual novel. I wanted you guys to know that I'm aware of this, and that I'm thinking like this as I read. Well, maybe not super consciously at all times, but subconsciously. It's in the back of my head. You know, when a character does something, I'm not gonna be like, but it's also something that I think maybe some of you guys could take with you too, if you want to, or not. I don't know. You don't have to take advice or whatever it is you want to see it from me. If it's something that you put in your mind but you don't actively think of because you think about it in a different way, that's fine too. Whatever it is, or maybe you can ignore it completely, that's fine too. But at the end of the day, it's just something I really wanted to say, just so it's out there. And now we're gonna keep reading, and I'll stay silent. Besides, I've talked for so much, my chest hurts, my throat hurts, so I'll actually just read the visual novel now. Here we go.
私の中に生まれた架空の友人たちだけが私を助けてくれるような気がしていました。でも友人たちは所詮は妄想で、だってここは妄想の世界じゃなくて
No one will save me. I sang last part too, didn't I? I think I sang Backstreet Boys. No one will save me. Okay, I'll leave it.
だからつまり私は今日までずっとアクチュームを見続けてきたわけです。
Okay, so this is Angie's new truth.
現実のクラスメートを嫌い、妄想の友人たちとの交流の中だけに生きた。その友人たちとはさっき決別しました。だから私はここにいます。家族もいません。友人も捨てました。もう私には何も残っていません。どうして死なないの？さっきそう聞いた人がいました。その通りだと思います。どうして私は生きてるんでしょう。1986年に私は死んでいるはずだったんです。いえ、きっと死んだんです。 私の殺された魂は未だにこの肉の檻に閉じ込められている。だから誰かに求めよう。
Interesting that she's saying that. This is not the first time she said this. My soul was killed is still locked up inside this cage of flesh. I find that really interesting because they also said a similar thing regarding Berto. I see the similarities between this and Berto for some reason. Berto also, after her death as a witch or whatever, or at least Kinzo trapped her soul in a body of flesh when her soul is supposed to be in a body of a witch or whatever. So Angie saying this, kind of mirroring that, I found that very interesting. I guess I might keep this in the back of my mind just as I keep reading, but that's interesting.
それに誰も答えてくれないなら自分で誰か私を死なせてください。
Alright, let's see what the classmates have to say about this. I spoke that sentence and looked around. What are the classmates gonna do? Are they finally gonna realize that they've been a piece of crap? Are they finally gonna try to befriend her? Or are they going to be like, ha! Stop pretending you're the victim here! We're the ones that sit here until 9 PM for you. Let's see what they have to say. Dumbfounded girls. Shocked girls. Girls who looked like they didn't know what this kid was saying. And after a small delay, more and more girls with faces that said, is this kid alright? I mean, you guys are partly at fault for this kid not being alright. Whisper, whisper. Mutter, mutter. And then, giggle, giggle. Alright, I thought the girls would improve a little bit after that talk, but nah, I guess nah, they're still gonna giggle. When I ordered my friends in my daydream to kill, they couldn't do it. And so, I asked the real humans to kill, but of course, these girls can't do it either. In other words, both daydreams and reality are the same. Doesn't that mean that everything, absolutely everything, this world included, is all a daydream? Is this all a dream? Then what's the problem? After all, on that day when I lost my entire family, I already died. All the days since have been the delusions of a wrongful survivor, delusions of a life flashing before my eyes. Once I understood that, it felt like all the scenery surrounding me began to twist and bend slightly. Ah, I'm finally going to wake up. I'm going to be released from this world of waking dreams. I felt my consciousness sliding away. That's alright. Fade further and further away and take me to my family. Therefore, no matter what unfolded in this twisted, fated world, I paid it no mind at all. I saw the crowd get pushed aside as a teacher stepped in. Perhaps the teacher doing the rounds happened to notice a strange disturbance. The teacher was vigorously shouting something, moving to protect me. Upon seeing that, and learning that an ally had appeared for me, even if only one, I felt my awareness return very slightly. Respect, teacher! Good job, teacher. I should not have clapped. My bad. The only ones who can save me in the real world are real humans. Never again. Never again will I seek salvations from daydreams. Well, I mean, you eventually do. At least if I understand the timelines right, you eventually summon the 7 stakes again. So, this is the human world. The only ones who can save a human are other humans. Is that what you think about Battler as well? You're the only one that can save Battler?
そうだね。エンジがそう思ったなら、それがエンジの世界。エンジはこれで幸せになれる？
幸せ？
エンジがそれでしか幸せになれないと信じたなら、もうそれしかない。
I find it interesting that Maria sides with her here. Okay, so she's not telling her that she needs to be a witch again or whatever. She needs to believe in magic or whatever. Nah, she actually agrees with her. Interesting. She sides with her in thinking, yeah, this is the way to live.
カゴの中にいる青い鳥を そうだと認められないならどこまでも探しに行かざるを得ない。
ウリュウ、マリアとエンジェはもう絶交なの？
絶交なんかじゃないよ。エンジェがそれを求めたからそうしただけ。私たち魔女は時に迫害を受けるけれども、でも常にみんなの身近にある。そしてきっとその助けを求められる。
And she did. You're right about that. She eventually does seek your aid in 1986. She does.
エンジェもまた僕たちと遊んでくれる日が来る？
It actually does, as far as I'm aware.
来ないでそのまま忘れてしまうこともあるかもしれない。人の世ではそれを成長や決別と呼ぶから。でも
If Angie just remembers, we will always be by her side. And until then, we will be waiting. That's the end of that chapter. Spent most of it babbling though. Sakutaro! Hey, that's the end of this chapter. Guess we're gonna spend time with Mari and Sakutaro. Which again, I really like Mari's character now after episode 4. But episode 4 made me really like her character. But I'm not sure how much I enjoy her plot story with Sakutaro. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. Like, I keep it real with you guys. Okay? I'm not sure if I really enjoy the story with Sakutaro. I'm not convinced yet. I gotta see more. I gotta see something that intrigues me more. I'll be honest. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and not be honest with y'all. If there's something I'm not 100% with, I will tell it how it is. I've been enjoying Umineko. I'm not saying I don't like it. Obviously, I wouldn't have been reading it if I wasn't enjoying it. But just this specific Sakutaro stuff, I'm not sure about that. As in, I'm not sure how much I enjoy, you know, going through it. But we'll see. Maybe this scene will change my mind. We'll see. Let's not judge something before it actually happens.
ウリュウ、マリア、返事して。ウリュウ、やっぱり僕はぬいぐるみなの？布と綿でできてるから喋れるわけないの？だからマリアとはおしゃべりできないの
？Sakutaro looked up at Maria sadly. I still want to know whether Sakutaro is Maria's voice actor or not. I'm not sure if someone answered that in the comments already or not. Or whether Sakutaro has his own voice actor. Maria's face was covered with tears, and she looked as though she had even lost the emotion of sadness.
聞こえてるよ、サクタロウ。サクタロウは布と綿でできたぬいぐるみなんかじゃないよ。マリアのお友達だよ。返事なんか嫌い。
This is really interesting to me because she's in her room now, and she's not wearing witch clothes. But she's supposed to be dead by this point, and we know she's supposed to be dead by this point. And even Angie even confirms it herself that this is happening after 1986, based on the way she was talking. I mean, we can easily derive that, so it's interesting.
ウリュウ、マリアごめんね。マリアごめんね。
Maria, go mene.
ウリュウ。
Sakutaro felt regret. By freezing her heart, Maria had finally been able to escape from her sadness. By speaking up and calling her back, he had caused her to become overwhelmed with sadness again. Sakutaro tried toddling up to Maria and hugging her, then letting go. Gazing at her appearance uneasily and trying it again, lost as to how he could bring Maria's spirits up. He might have looked a little humorous doing that. Or maybe this isn't after what just happened in the school where Angel's getting bullied. Considering Mari's not wearing her witch clothes, I'm gonna go ahead and think that this is actually back in their childhood when Angie initially said that, oh, Sakura's just a stuffed toy. And when Maria got angry initially. So this is before 1986. And this is exactly what I mean by pacing, weird pacing stuff with this visual, with episode 4 at least, the Angie story. Why didn't they make this more obvious? Glass break, and when we go here, I feel like they could have made this more obvious that this is happening after the whole Angie as a kid, by the way, as a 6-year-old or as a 5-year-old, however old she was, saying that Sakura doesn't exist, rather than Angie as, I don't know, a 16-year-old or whatever, getting bullied in school. You know what I mean? I feel like that sort of thing, this doesn't, it's kind of a weird jump cut. We go from that to this and then to this back again. I don't know. Personal opinion. I think this entire sequence could have been done better. I know we're supposed to piece things together, but I still think, I don't know, I'm not the biggest fan of that. But I hope I've at least managed to piece these things, you know, the time frames together in a way that makes sense. So this is after initially 6-year-old Angie denied Sakutaro. Okay, back when they're in the Tin Mansion. I think, again, let me know if I'm wrong, because it is a bit confusing, but I think I'm right. Might have looked at it humorous doing that. As a result, I was able to divert Maria's feelings from sadness.
ごめんね。もう泣いても仕方ないもんね。エンジェとは喧嘩しちゃったけど、マリアにはまだたくさん友達がいるよ。僕だけじゃない。みんなもいるよ。サクスケもサク吉も動物の音楽隊も他にも。
Maria looked at the many stuffed animals around her pillow, which were gathered together as though they were having a conference.
みんなマリアのこと心配してるよ。どうしたらマリアが元気になってくれるかなってずっと相談しているよ。みんなはエンジェみたいにいなくならない？ならないよ。僕たちはいつだって一緒だよ。本当に？サク太郎たちは家でしか一緒じゃないよ。ママと一緒にお出かけできないし、学校にも一緒に行けないよ。僕たちは学校に行っちゃいけないから、先生に見つかったら怒られちゃうもん。でも見つからないならいつだって一緒にいていいんだよ。サク太郎、大きいから見つかっちゃうね。
I was gonna say, how are you gonna hide him now that he's become a freaking furry boy? You know, back when he was a little stuffed toy, before Beato gave him her power, whatever that meant. Sure, you could hide him in your school bag or something. Can't hide him when he looking like this. He looks like a 5-year-old kid. Can't do that, can you?
だったら小さくて持ち歩ける子と一緒に行けばいいよ。例えば、ほら、森の音楽隊の仲間たちなら、ほら、小さいからマリアのポケットに隠れて一緒に学校に行けるよ。音楽隊いっぱいいるよ。ポケットに入りきらないよ。
Then just take like 2 or something, 2 or 3 and then go. She gathered all the forest band pieces that were scattered across her bed. There were about as many of them as pieces in a chess set, so it will probably be impossible to fit them all in her pocket. Okay, that's a lot of pieces in a chess set. Ooh.
なら特に仲良しのお友達だけを連れて行くといいよ。森の音楽隊の中で一番マリアと仲良しのウサギの4人組を連れて行くといいよ。4つならポケットに入る。うん、これなら見つからないね。だからマリアはこれで学校でも一人ぼっちじゃないよ。僕が一緒に行けないところでもこの子たちなら一緒にいてくれるよ。なら寂しくないかも。お家に帰ってくるまで我慢できるかも。ママと先生にさえ見つからなければ僕たちはいつだって一緒にいられるんだよ。そしていつまでも一緒にいよう。遊んでいよう。 僕たちはマリアを絶対に一人ぼっちになんかさせないから。ウリ
Maria's expression finally regained a little of its brightness. That's right. Thinking about it, my world didn't start out with Angie in it. Even without Angie, everyone was together and it was fun. No! So it's weird to suddenly get sad just because Angie's gone when she was the last to come in. Oh, that's what she meant. Alright, never mind. Forget it. My bad, my bad. I interpreted it the wrong way. It's fine. We're good. All that's happening is that I've returned to the world right before Angie entered it. So there's nothing to be sad about.
寂しくないよ。サク太郎もみんなも一緒だもん。ウリュウ、マリア大好き。
大好き、マリア。
もう人間なんかにマリアの世界には誰も立ち入らせないよ。
No more humans. Filthy humans.
マリアージュ・ソルシエールはマリアとベアトリーチェだけの二人きりの同盟。もともとベアともエンジェを加えるのには反対してたし、これでいいんだもんね。エンジェはまだ幼すぎたんだよ。
And then eventually you'll say she's too old. Well, so which one is it?
エンジェのことはまた仲良しになれるまで当分を忘れていていいと思うよ。
You sure that's the right idea, Sakutaro?
マリアがまた元気を取り戻せたら一緒に遊べばいいよ。それまで僕たちみんながずっとそばにいるからね。
Fair enough.
ありがとう。
ありがとう。
サク太郎、みんな。
Then, I once again regained my former world. Alright, another time frame. Where the hell are we now? Come on. Guys, this is exactly what I mean. Now I have to piece this together. When is this taking place? I regained the world where I wasn't lonely and where I was surrounded by many friends. When was this? Amakusa? Before Amakusa? I'm guessing this is doing Amakusa stuff. When? You regained your former world, so this is after you got bullied, right? So by many friends. Guessing this is after you got bullied, Angie. I'm guessing this is Angie's perspective. Oh god, I hate it. I hate it, y'all. Just make it more obvious. Make it at least a little easier for me to understand where we're at right now. But I think that's what's happening here. But I wonder if it's before or after Amakusa. Because as far as I'm aware, Angie regained her former world after meeting up with Amakusa and being in that hotel. And reading the diary. Or maybe not. I don't know. I actually don't know. That's the worst part. I don't actually know when the time frame of this is. As always, I didn't have any human friends at school, but my magic friends were always with me. Even during class, I could hear the rabbit band. Okay, so this is Maria. Okay, cool. Okay, so this is Maria after the incident just happened. Alright. Fair, finally. Former world with her band animal friends and stuffed animals. Finally. Okay. That's all I wanted, man. That's literally all I wanted. Just clarification of who it is, where we're at, you know what I mean? Okay. Even during class, I could hear the rabbit band hiding in my pocket, talking together and giggling, and they sounded like they were having a lot of fun. Just listening to that added a lot of color to those lonely school hours. I made sure that my other friends too were always with me, as long as Mama and the teacher wouldn't find out. When Mama told me to go play outside, I would secretly pack Sakutaro and Sakusuke and the rest into my bag and play together at the library or somewhere. And when Mama was late coming home and I went shopping for dinner, I always went with them. The men working at the convenience store were always nice to Sakutaro. Oh my god. Sometimes they even gave me 2 extra things for free. One for me and one for Sakutaro. Yeah, I don't think that was their intention, but that is how you took it. That is your truth, I guess I should say. To be fair, that is my truth. Maybe they genuinely gave it for Sakutaro. If there's one thing I learned about Umineko, is that your truth or the way you initially see things may not be the way things actually are. Maybe the men working at the convenience store actually did give it to Sakutaro, and it actually was because they know that Sakutaro is his own being. Maybe my truth here is going haywire. If there's one thing I've learned this episode, god damn it, it's that. Alright? Whenever Mama found out, I would get in trouble for bringing Sakutaro and the rest outside. Whenever the teacher found out, I would get in trouble for bringing toys to school. The dogs must be strong in Mama and the teacher. That's why Sakutaro and the others just look like normal stuffed animals to them. They are really old though. They are both over 30, I can imagine, so... After all, the men at the convenience stores say hello to Sakutaro. Yeah, and men working at convenience stores don't have to be that old. I don't know what I'm going with there, but that there. Not all humans are worthless. There are a ton of people who, unlike Angie and my teacher, can say hello to magic friends like I can. Angie. That's how she perceives it. That's her truth. Okay. See, that's what interpreting. That's how I was initially interpreting that. Is that they're giving her extra because they feel bad for her and her mom coming late, so she had to order dinner for herself. That's why they give her extras, not because of whatever reason of whatever Sakutaro did, right? What am I saying? Not because of not because of Sakutaro being there, or because they actually acknowledge Sakutaro. Like many things they do. I mean, now we're actually seeing the discussion, so.
Well,
their friends are also with us. Interesting. Oh! Did he hear Sakutaro talking? Because Maria didn't say anything about other friends. Ooh, what's that about?
今日はどんなお友達が一緒なんだい？
今日はね、森の音楽隊のウサギさんたちも一緒。ほら、ポケットに入ってるの。
I don't remember Maria ever mentioning having other friends. Does that mean the guy actually sees and hears Sakutaro? Maria began to line up 4 ceramic rabbit dolls on the register. As the owner of the shop looked at them with a smile, he signaled the part-timer with his chin. The sign on the other registers that said close was taken down, and the part-timer called for everyone to move over there. What? All of the people in line behind Maria formed a new line over there instead. What? What's happening?
そうかそうか。マリアちゃんにはお友達がいっぱいだね。
Did they create a new line so that the people behind Maria would go to the other space to buy their stuff, so that this guy could spend time with Maria? Right? Because this guy feels bad for Maria and the fact that she's not able to properly socialize? Or something? I don't really know.
ママも早く帰ってきてくれればいいのに。
I don't really know what's happening here. But what happened with that close sign, I don't really know. You guys can tell me in the comments, I bet.
ママはまたお仕事が忙しくて会社にお泊まりなの。最近はよく忙しくなるの。マリアと電話でお話しする時間も全然取れない。でも寂しくないよ。マリアにはサクタラたちがいるもん。ねえ。うりゅう。
うりゅう。
うさぎの音楽隊のみんなも一緒だもん。ほら。キューキュー。
キューキュー。
うさぎの鳴き声ってキューキューだったっけ？
Maybe.
はて、そういや聞いたことないな。
True. That's what I'm saying. Maybe that might be the actual sound. I don't know. After smiling at Sakutaro, who was poking his head out of her knapsack. Right. She played around with the rabbit band on the register, making them frolic around. Even as he gazed at this heartwarming sight, the shop manager had a slightly pitying look on his face. Okay, so I think that's what's actually happening. I think he does actually pity Mario. I don't think he actually sees Sakutaro and stuff like that. So my truth may be right, maybe. This was apparently a family without a father, and where the mother had to work hard and couldn't come home very often. On top of that, it looked like this girl didn't even have any friends. As he watched this girl play around happily with her dolls and claim that she wasn't lonely despite everything, he couldn't help but feel a kind of compassion. And actually, this wasn't limited to him alone. Maria had become very famous in this shopping district.
マリアちゃん、たまにはおでんも食べなさい。
Oden is not Oden if it isn't boiled. If you know what I mean. What a freaking what a scene.
卵とか練り物とか食べないと大きくなれないよ。
おお、クリームパンじゃダメ？
Cream roll. I mean, Oden is healthier, I guess.
ウリュウ、いろいろ食べないと大きくなれないよ。
It's true. Most important part about food is to get a variety. It's true. Variety of healthy food is great.
今日はおでんにしよう。
Only for today sounds good. I agree.
おー、じゃあおでんにする。
そうしなさい。おじさんが多めに入れておくよ。からしいる？
ウリュウ、
You don't like mustard, Sakutaro?
辛いのは苦手。
Oh, okay.
そうかそうか。じゃあこぼさないように持って帰りな。
I find it very interesting that he hears what Sakutaro's saying when he said he don't like spicy things. It makes me think that maybe from his POV, Maria's the one saying that, and he just heard what Maria said. Or maybe he does actually see Sakutaro and hear Sakutaro. But then that also brings up the question that I originally had, which is Sakutaro Maria's voice actress just sounding a bit different? Because I generally can't hear him as his own voice actor, genuinely. I would believe it if someone told me that him and Maria's voice actors are the same. Alright, I see. Actually, don't, okay.
温かいうちが美味しいよ。
ありがとう。
Arigato. She had planned on getting some sweet pastries for dinner like usual, but since Oden had been recommended to her, she would be having that tonight instead. Get the healthier option, that's good. Letting someone else determine the menu makes for an unexpected and interesting meal. Very often Maria had to decide on her own what to have for dinner, so it was easy for the menu to get a little one-sided. So it felt fun to look forward to a meal she hadn't anticipated. You could do that every day then.
ウリュウ、
I'm sure if you go to the grocery store every day and ask the guy, oh, well, what should I order or something, I'm sure he'll give you something else. Especially because that store, that register guy, he seems like a very good person, so I'm sure he'd help you out and give you, oh, that's a good suggestion, you should take that.
おじさん、おまけしてくれてありがとう。
お家にいる他のお友達にもよろしくね。途中でつまみ食いしちゃダメだよ。まっすぐお家へ帰ってから食べるんだよ。
おじさん、ありがと
Maria held the bag with Oden container high for all to see. Nice. I think I'm gonna end there, y'all. I think it's a good spot to end it. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this part of Umineko when they cry. I spent a lot of it talking rather than actually reading, but I think that's fine. I guess I'll try to spend next time talking less. But I do hope you guys have enjoyed this one. I'll see you guys next time for some more Umineko. And yeah, alright, y'all. Let me know in the comments different things that I asked about throughout the video. Like if I'm wrong about the time frames, let me know. What any other question that I might have asked in the video, because I do read the comments and I do appreciate them a lot, and it does help my reading experience for sure. So thank you very much for all of you there. Hope you guys enjoyed this one as much as I enjoyed reading it, and I'll see you guys next time. Alright, y'all. Peace.